Christmas time. A very stressful time that it seems to be with family members and friends of people that are reptile lovers. You know, not many people know about the reptile hobby and really what to give the reptile person, so I guess I'll just go ahead and give them a reptile. Oh, hold on there, that might not actually be the best idea. Of course, as we've discussed and we're actually making a series about it for this entire month, buying someone a reptile impulsively is really not the best idea. Of course, being a huge commitment, somewhere around 10 to 20 years, maybe there's a better option. That better option is exactly what we're gonna be talking about. Yeah, the top 5 best gifts you can give for a reptile lover this Christmas. So yeah, that's the video. Stick around, we're gonna be talking about some amazing stuff you guys can give to the reptile lovers, and subscribe if you're new. Would love to have you around. Let's get into it. Let's start with a gift idea that will benefit both the reptile keeper and the reptile itself, and that's going to be number 5, a brand new enclosure. Now, a new enclosure would be absolutely amazing. Not only is the reptile keeper going to be excited, the new possibilities of putting in this bigger space for this animal, being able to deck it out with new decorations, new substrate, having a whole new home for his reptile would just be an awesome thing. But adding on top of that, the reptile also benefits from this as well. You're not gonna go out and get a new reptile where this guy now has to spend $200, $300, $400 setting everything up. No, his original reptile has a new home, a new place, a bigger space, a better space, something that just benefits both of them would just be an absolutely amazing thing. Of course, there are a multitude of enclosure designs you can go through, stemming through PVC, wooden builds, custom-made stuff, aquariums, things of that nature, all in all stemming from, well, a lot of choices. When it comes to these larger closures, you know, anything that's 4 foot and bigger, stuff for like bearded dragons and things of that nature, there comes a point where all of them have one negative consequence, and that being the lead time. Lead time is going to be how long it takes to make and ship the enclosure. Now, these wait times going from anywhere from 3, 6 to months and months until getting the enclosure. Getting a Christmas present kind of means you got to get it at somewhat a fast late, not like, hey Johnny, I got you an enclosure, it'll be here in April. No, you're going to want a company that can ship you out the enclosure at a pretty speedy way. That's why I definitely recommend Zen Habitats, which is actually the enclosure right behind me. Zen Habitats makes a variety of dimensions of enclosures. We're going for things like 2x2x2s for your average gecko, your arboreal gecko, you know, crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, things of that nature. You've got the 4x2, which would be an absolute mansion for things like a leopard gecko, or maybe just a nice home for a bearded dragon. You can get giant enclosures. I believe they have a 4 foot by 2 foot by 5 foot, a behemoth of an enclosure. And here's the best part. The best part of it is that you're not gonna have to wait that giant lead time. Personally, for me right now, I'm waiting on some PVC enclosures to come into my place for my new geckos, and I'm waiting 2 to 3 months before those actually get here. No, Zen Habitats will have that enclosure to you within the week of placing your order. They're just that fast. Definitely a company I recommend if you're looking for a speedy enclosure at a great price. Very competitively speaking, and most of the time, or I'd say pretty much all the time, cheaper than your average competitors. So you're saving money, and you're actually going to be able to get the enclosure on Christmas instead of, again, waiting that long wait period. It should be known that I am an affiliate of Zen Habitat, so I might be just slightly biased, but the whole speed shipping and the saving money thing, that's all true. There's no lying or false narratives over there. If you guys want to check out Zen Habitats, get some more information, I do get a small cutback if you guys buy an enclosure. I'd really appreciate that. You can find that information down there in the description right below. All right, that's a sponsorship. I mean, I could only put like one in a video. There's no way I'd actually be crazy enough to put 2 sponsorships into one video, unless, Moving on, let's get into a gift idea that isn't exactly the most personable gift idea, but it is a very practical one, and that's going to be number 4, getting a gift card. Oh, I know, wicked easy idea, no dur Dakota, get a gift card, like could you be any more obvious? But hey, gift cards are something that maybe people don't think about. And again, it's gonna be a little bit more personal than just giving them some cold hard cash and saying, here you go Timmy, I put absolutely no thought into this whatsoever. No, a gift card's gonna let them know that you, well, at least know that they're into reptiles or into pets in general. And a lot of places these days do offer gift cards, not just your standard Petco and PetSmarts. Honestly, I wouldn't get them a Petco or PetSmart gift card. My family gave me Petco and PetSmart gift cards for a long time, and I hated it because I never shop at Petco and PetSmart. So you'll have to do a little bit more work over there, I'm sorry to say. You can just search up your local reptile shop that's around the area. Try to go to a local one, a mom and pop shop, if you will. It's gonna be not only better for your local businesses, you know, a small business reptile guy trying to make a name out of yourself, opening a pet shop, trying to compete with the behemoths, you know, those Petcos and PetSmart, but your son's gonna like it a little better, your daughter's gonna like it even better. Whoever's into reptiles is gonna like it a little better because these specifically are specialty reptile shops they're just a lot cooler. Much bigger variety in the shop department. You're talking about different foods, different ledges, different things, everything catered that's specifically towards reptiles instead of the generic stuff that these big box stores offer. Not only that, but it's just a cool place to be. Maybe it's a place that they don't know about and you kind of just figured that out and you give them. It's not only an opportunity to visit a new cool place that surrounds their hobby and the stuff that they're passionate about, but now they got a few bucks to spend thanks to that gift card. But moving on, let's get into some stuff that's just a little bit more personal instead of just going out and grabbing a gift card. Let's get to some stuff that's going to be really cool for the person and isn't going to require responsibility of, again, that 10 to 20 year commitment. And that something is going to be number 3, Reptile Apparel. Reptile apparel and merchandise is a great way to show them that you care, you know they're interested in this thing, but it's not just an animal and it's not just a gift card, it's a little bit more personal. Now this idea is going to invoke a little bit more stuff on your part. Just Googling reptile merchandise, you're gonna get a lot of the Nat Geo stereotypical stuff that just looks a little bit cheap and cheesy. A big recommendation that I have is find out what their favorite reptile YouTuber is, if that's something they shop, or maybe their favorite reptile breeder, someone that they look up to, and then see if they have their own lines and designs of merchandise. Me, myself, I actually have a couple designs. You can probably see them right down there. There's a little banner for them. And a lot of other content creators in the reptile field do the same exact thing. They make merchandise that they channel through their YouTube channels, stuff like that, their websites, things of that nature. Definitely tons of options out there. You just gotta look for them, including one of my personal favorites, and that's going to be Zilla Footwear. Jesus Christ, Dakota, 2 in 1 video? Yes, Zilla Footwear is a company that makes reptile shoes for the reptile lover with just these incredible designs like the ones I have, the chameleon. Now these things are absolutely incredible. Colorful, vibrant, great artwork that's not just gonna come off as like a photo print of the animal that, again, it just kind of looks cheesy and out of place. No, they actually put some work into this. However, if chameleons aren't your thing, that's not all they do. They do actually a lot of stuff, including corn snakes, leopard geckos, bearded dragons, tokay geckos, red-eared sliders. There are actually so many to list, I can't. They are always making new designs and new merchandise available to the public, and all in all, it's a great place. If that's something interesting, you know, you're looking for a cool Van/Converse type shoe that has awesome reptiles on it, you can find more information right down there in the description down below. Let's see, I did the Zen Habitat sponsorship, I talked about my merch, we did the Zilla Footwear. Yeah, I think we're all done with sponsorships now. We can actually start the video. Moving on, let's get into a present idea that isn't really the most personable and exciting, but definitely the most practical, and that's going to be number 2, just everyday tools. There's no bigger bummer in my morning when I go to flick on a heat bulb and what do you know, it's burnt out. This happens with over 100 animals quite frequently, and it is quite annoying. Getting some supplies for the person would be an absolutely awesome thing. Not only do they have extras of things where they don't have to run over to Home Depot, run over to the pet shop to grab a new bulb, a new item, anything like that would just be an awesome plus. It's like this snake hook right here come in very handy if your person seems to be a snake lover. With animals like my red-tailed boa and my carpet python, I absolutely love the snake hook. Prevents me from getting bit, it makes the animal a lot more easier to coax out, and again, no blood is being shed, so this is the biggest pro and why I absolutely love snake hooks. Variety of different things you can do, you know, snoop around a little, ask them a couple questions. Maybe they're running low on some calcium powder. Maybe a gift card to Josh's Frogs to really help them out for their cricket and bug orders. Anything like that. Again, while not being the most exciting thing to open up at Christmas, it'd be something that I personally would really appreciate because feeders and other things, they get a little bit expensive. Alright, we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about some pretty practical stuff that isn't really personable, some awesome stuff for both the keeper and the animal itself, and some all stuff that can just be really exciting. But let's get into something that happens to be one of the most personable and exciting things you can do for that person. That something is going to be number 1, plan a trip to a reptile event. There are a ton of different places you can go to, not just your local zoo. I mean, not to say zoos aren't exciting or anything, but make it a little bit more personable. There happens to be actually quite a few different reptile zoos that are coming about. Of course, we've got Brian Barczyk's Reptarium. We've got trip over to Zoo Creatures and take one of their private tours where you get to hold incredible things like giant snakes, big monitor lizards, something that would make any kid to adult just happy with glee that maybe they're not able to care for these giant snakes and giant reptiles right now, but being up close and personal, having that interactive experience, That has to be the next best thing. Not only would it be an incredible experience for the person to be able to get up close and personal with these reptiles, but it would be a bonding experience. You guys get to hang out together doing what this guy loves, their passion, their hobby, whatever you want to call it. It'd be awesome. And hey, maybe if you're one of those persons that don't really understand it, you think snakes and reptiles are icky, the experience that just might change your mind in the course of it as well. And well guys, there you have it. Top 5 gift ideas for this Christmas for reptile lovers. Let me know what you thought about this idea. Were these some cool gifts idea? Did I miss 1 or 2 things? Are you thinking to yourself, Dakota, was this just a sponsor video for you to get as many sponsors as you can and try to rake in some money for the holiday season? Well, next question. As always, folks, if you guys want to find me in a couple more places, you can always see me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, not to mention Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotics. This is where you get the up-close and personal stuff of everything that's going on within my breeding business, DBCB Exotics. This includes a plethora of products we got going on right now. New Caledonian geckos, cave geckos, tokay geckos, some secret projects I cannot reveal yet, but well, very soon. We've got some larger stuff such as tegu lizards, Aki monitors, things of that nature. A lot of stuff going on, and definitely stuff you don't want to miss. Behind the scenes video of everything that's going on, first look at my new projects, first dibs on babies I produce, and even higher tiers you get discounts on the babies I produce and that I make for sale. Great place to be with great people, including our newest Patreon member, CAREY MEAD. I really hope I pronounced your name right. Hopefully I did. Thank you so much for joining Patreon. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to find out some more information or potentially join my Patreon, you can find that also down there in the description right below. As always, folks, thank you so much for taking the time in your day to follow us over here at DBCB Exotics. We'll see you next time, but until then, goodbye.